Alright guys, today I'll be reviewing Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. This is the 2013 B&M wing coaster, and I think a lot of people, enthusiasts and GP, overrate this a little bit. I do think it's a much better ride than Valraven next door, but I still think it's definitely overrated, and I'll explain why in this review. So let's start off with this ride's biggest strength, and that's the presentation. Obviously, this ride creates one of the best entrances to any park of all time, with those keyholes and that zero-G roll going right through them. It's got a really nice color scheme with the blue and white. I love some blue and white on rides like Millennium Force, and it's no different here. The trains look really cool. Unfortunately, there's no theming, but I could deal with that because it's a really cool looking ride. Now, the wait times for this thing usually are pretty light compared to some other rides like Maverick or Steel Vengeance. They do get bigger than rides like Gemini or Blue Streak, but I mean, you're not going to wait more than a half hour for this thing unless it's a really busy day. And part of that's due to the popularity, but a big part of it is due to the capacity. I mean, 3 trains, 32 people per train, B&M operations with Cedar Point ops. I mean, it's good stuff. As far as the operations go, they're really good. They're Cedar Point ops, and they're some of the better ones. I would say in terms of which row you should get, you should go for the back. I like the hang time on the wing over drop in the front, but you definitely get some better whip in the back, and it's more intense. However, I will say, if you had to choose a side, definitely choose that left side. If you only get one ride, go for the left, because you get some way better whip on that wing over drop. Now, it's not really a rough ride, so if you hate roughness, you can go on the ends on this one. So once you actually get in your seat, you're going to pull down those restraints, and I don't really like the B&M vests. I don't feel like these are quite as tight as Valraven's, but they're definitely not as good as Wild Eagle's. This ride doesn't really have any airtime anyway, unlike Wild Eagle, so it doesn't really matter, but still, it sucks that you're that tight in there. But anyways, you're going to pull out of the station, head up the lift, and then head down that wing over drop. And I definitely like Wild Eagle's first drop way better. The way that thing's profiled, you get actual like flowjector, but on this, it's kind of just floaty if you're on that right side, but if you're on the left, you get some good whip, especially if you're in the back. If you're in the front, you're going to get good hang time, but I'd go for the back if you want the more aggressive experience here. You get some laterals, and then the pull out of this is somewhat intense. You don't really get too many good positives, but you can feel it a little bit, and the sense of speed here is really good. Then you're going to pull up into an Immelman. This is a very boring, graceful inversion, nothing too special. Unfortunately, the next element is an airtimeless airtime hill. It's kind of sad because I know B&Ms can give airtime with vests. Again, I'm going to bring up Wild Eagle a lot because it's a way better coaster than this. That ride gives some fantastic airtime on that first drop, but this thing just couldn't do it, unfortunately. After this, you're going to go through a corkscrew. It's pretty floaty. It delivers a little bit of laterals, but nothing too special. And then you're going to go through the zero-G roll between the keyholes. And obviously, the biggest part about this element is the near misses. They're amazing, but the element itself is pretty okay. You get a little bit of hang time, nothing too special, and then you head into the dive loop, and this is another filler element just to turn you around. I would have loved to see something a bit more creative here, maybe even something like a hive dive here, except actually give airtime, unlike that sideways drop on Raptera. That thing looks actually stupid. That whole ride looks stupid, but that's for another day. Anyways, back to Gatekeeper. You're going to go through a zero-G roll after that, and this near miss is honestly the best one on the ride. No matter what side you're on, you're going to get some sort of near miss with those keyholes, and my god, does it feel like you're going to hit them. The element itself is pretty okay. You get some good hang time on it, but definitely nothing too great. And then you're going to pop up into the mid-course before heading into a very lackluster finale. And I think most people, even Gatekeeper's biggest defenders, agree that this finale sucks. You've got the drop off the mid-course, which doesn't give any airtime. You've got a forceless, boring helix before a forceless, boring airtime hill, before turning up into the brakes. It does nothing. It's stupid. They should have put another Heartline roll here. It would have been repetitive, but I mean, at least you get some hang time. On this, you just do absolutely nothing. Or here's a crazy thought. Actually make an airtime hill that's profiled to give airtime. I know you've got vests, but I mean, just loosen them up a bit or put normal OTSs on this. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, do that. And then just have a couple ejector pops or even floater pops. I don't even care. I can't even ask for ejector out of B&M, but whatever. You hit the brakes and that's your ride on Gatekeeper. Overall, it's a fun ride, but definitely nothing you should rush to first thing at Cedar Point. If you want to do something at the front of the park first, do Raptor for sure. That's definitely the best B&M in the park without a question. It just sucks that this ride was built after Wild Eagle, and it's not even close to Wild Eagle. So for Gatekeeper's final score, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It's objectively a good ride. It's above average. It's above the 50% mark that I need it to clear to give it a 6 out of 10. But that being said, it's definitely not perfect. It's pretty forceless in some places. And overall, it's definitely not one of the top rides at Cedar Point. So let me know what you guys think of Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.